What it do, YouTube? It has been a long minute to say the least. I do apologize. It's been about 2 months since I posted. I actually did film 2 episodes since the last time I posted, and due to audio issues, video corruption, I was never able to properly put them together and post them. So I was trying to stick through with it for you guys and post as I was going, but there was just so many issues and life got busy. But I think I got everything figured out now. So hopefully we can get into doing things properly. Today is a fun little episode that I thought about. I wanted to go ahead and do a little switch up on something I've done before. I've done in Am I the Asshole podcast before, where I reacted to Am I the Asshole prompts, but this time I want to do something a little different. I want to do Am I the Asshole, where the verdict was the person was the asshole, but this time I want to put a little twist on it. I want to play devil's advocate. Mind you, I'm not in any way saying whether I agree or disagree with the verdict. I'm more so kind of doing like a little psychological thing where I'm going to try to see from the person's perspective, the poster's perspective, where they were the asshole, and try to, I guess, maybe explain it in a way to make it seem either less like the asshole or not the asshole. So this is kind of like a just for fun little kind of psychological slash social exercise that I want to do. Mind you, I've been reading or listening to the Smosh Reddit podcast a lot for the last month or two, and there are quite a few verdicts that I've seen where someone was either given the asshole or not the asshole, and I disagreed with the verdict, or like the people in Smosh agreed with the verdict and I disagreed with everyone, or moments where they still got the verdict, and even though I did low-key agree, I saw a lot from where the person was coming from and wouldn't personally label it the asshole, but I agree why they got the verdict. So this is going to be a fun little tidbit, and maybe see if you guys agree with me, see or I would say if you can be swayed by my devil's advocacy, and it'll be fun. Once again, before we get into it, go like the videos, subscribe to my channel. It doesn't cost you a dime. It does wonders for me. I appreciate you. Now, obviously, you know me. I left my corkscrew on the freaking dresser. Give me 1 second. And I'm back. All right. So, let's get this show on the road. And obviously, if you've been on my videos, you know me. You know I'm a big wine person, especially when I do my podcast episodes. So today I got a Cabernet, but this time I got the Saint Chateau Michel brand, which I usually get their Riesling or maybe their Chardonnay. This is actually the first time I've tried their Cabernet. So let's see how it is. And guess what? I also left my wine glass over there. So I will be back again. And I'm back again. All right, wonderful. Hopefully I don't have to get up again. I don't think I do. But we shall see. Usually I do this before I started. That goes to show how rusty I am. That it's been a good little minute since I've made one of these videos. All right, perfect. And let's get this show on the road. Hold on. What I am going to do, though, is I am going to restart this live. By the way, I got really irritated because for these kind of videos where I do play videos for you guys, I have TikTok Studio on my computer where it lets me screen share and have a camera on my face. And today I went to start it up and it had an update. And after I updated it, it told me that I was unable to use the camera or the screen share until I do at least 3 lives with the Studio app. And then when I tried to go live, it said I was required to use the camera for the Studio app. Make it make sense. Like, it was so confusing. So I can't go live unless I use the camera, but it's telling me I can't use the camera unless I go live 3 times. I don't know, bro. Like, when it comes to technical aspects, it's been very frustrating couple of months trying to put a podcast episode together. That's all I got to say. Like, it's actually been very, very irritating. All right, so live. I think so. I want to know if I do through the camera, could I do a screen share through mobile? But I don't know if it'll let me do that other than the gaming version of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird thing that's been going on. It's been actually very, very irritating. But yeah, hopefully I can get this figured out so that the next time I try to do something, it won't be, I don't know, just so overly irritating. But we shall see. All right. And computer and phone are on the same Wi-Fi. Scan the QR showed in Studio Live. Add source phone camera. Interesting. All right, add source. Will it let me do that? It won't even let me do that. That's absolutely insane. I don't know why. You know, it is what it is. Oh, well. All right, so now we are going to start the very first video.
Welcome back to some insane Reddit stories. I'm Shane, and today the theme is Am I the Devil?
Let's freaking go.
Right. These are the worst of the worst. And I'm joined by 2 of the worst people I know.
Oh, Shane.
Oh, by the way, it's 6 videos.
Courtney and
They're all
Spencer,
Smosh videos.
Hey.
Because I know the verdicts
you
of these,
guys-
and because I've been
I
watching.
know you guys know Reddit, so... Because, Courtney, you've curated a bunch of stories for this show.
Yeah, and they messed me up real bad.
Yeah, you
tangents
had to
are
take a
strong with this one.
break after producing one of these episodes. You were like, I'm out.
The
This
spooky
is
one, the research was a lot, but I think I could be ready to make more again or help make more again.
done. Spencer, you look like you're on Reddit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that place.
I can't believe it's taken this long for us to be on an episode together. What the heck? Why are you waiting me?
I didn't realize this one had so much intro.
Yeah.
The whole first
All right,
half
here
of
we
it is.
go. Am I the asshole for getting frustrated with a kid at the arcade?
So far, no.
I'm a 30-year-old man, and I'm a really big fan of DDR, and I was just playing a
Dance
bit at an
Revolution.
arcade near me. I was about to get a full combo when this kid around 8 years old decided to play a stupid prank. He used his hand to press the buttons and mess up my combo. I was furious as I had been practicing this map for a while now and was about to full combo it. I will admit I lost my temper. I started screaming stuff like, "What the f*** are you doing?" and "Where are your parents because they clearly failed you?" It wasn't the nicest thing to say, but I was understandably angry. The staff came to me and banned me from the arcade for being aggressive. Am I the asshole? Okay, at first I was like, I don't. Yeah, at first I questioned. Well, I'm like, okay, is this real or not? I think this is fully real because I have seen this type of shit
Oh, yeah.
at arcades.
So, so that video, the guy was deemed, the verdict was he was an asshole, and of course, this is a theme that's going to be throughout most of these videos where they're not necessarily the asshole for how they felt, but they were more so an asshole for like just one certain aspect of the scenario. And of course, as you can probably guess, the verdict was deemed that because of how outward his response was and how outlandish it was. And the thing about this is, like, for me, I think that we all see from this guy's perspective with a kid messing with somebody else, just doing whatever he wanted, interrupting somebody else's space and time because they have no manners. And for me, if this guy really said it exactly how it was read to the kid, I don't believe in cussing at kids. I never really agreed with cussing at kids or cussing around kids, especially young kids. However, in the heat of the moment, I wouldn't have, seen the guy as a huge, like, asshole for saying what he said or behaving how he did, unless he was like physically imposing himself on the kid or towering over the kid, kind of like in that threatening manner. But if he's just like standing where he was standing and the kid backed up and he was like, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, where are your parents? Your parents failed you. Later in that episode, during the same video, the Shane and the rest of the Smosh people, they start to talk about how it probably, like, him, the way he said what he said, probably ended up being a lesson for that kid and like messing with other people and talking about it being traumatizing or whatever. And my thing is, bro, at 8 years old, you should at least know well enough not to mess with other people while they're doing things in a public setting. And especially putting your hands and, doing that. If you want to be honest, that's actually a health hazard. Because DDR, Dance Dance Revolution, we are, like, no matter even if it's a kid on it, they are stepping on those panels sometimes with the full weight of their body, and they're going so fast. And if you're using your hands to mess that up, you are running the potential of someone like really like stomping the crap out of your fingers. And the crazy thing is, that kid may not realize that what he did could have ended way, way worse because of the fact that he decided to mess with somebody else during that game. Like, he probably could have broken something if the guy accidentally stepped on his hand. So for me, honestly, if you like, if that kid were to get yelled at like that and get scared to the point of never wanting to mess with someone again, to me, that's a better alternative than you getting your hand stepped on and potentially breaking your fingers. So to me, I honestly, not going to say I didn't see anything wrong with how he handled it, but I think someone needed to check him because obviously his parents did not teach him that you just don't mess with people out in public. Like, yes, I think they did actually fail him in that aspect. So sorry, I kind of agree with that. I thought that was funny. So next one.
Am I the asshole for telling my sister I can't attend my brother-in-law's funeral? So this is a 23-year-old woman. My sister, who's 28, her husband recently passed away in an accident. This is a shock and absolutely devastating for us. The funeral is coming up soon. I'm sure all of you know Taylor Swift is currently on tour, and tickets for that were notoriously difficult to get. I've been a fan since I was a kid. My first ever concert was her Red tour. Her music has gotten me through some of my hardest moments and also part of my best memories. It might sound dramatic to some people, which is fine, but I truly feel Taylor and her music is a massive part of my life and shaped who I am. Me and my friend managed to get tickets to the Eras tour. The funeral is the date of our show. We want to get to the stadium by 5 at the latest. It'll take about 40 to 50 minutes to get there, possibly more depending on traffic. And of course, I also have to get ready before that and have a specific outfit/costume I'm planning to wear. The funeral is in the afternoon, and the timing is very close. I wouldn't be able to make it to the stadium in time. I told my sister gently, I'm sorry, but I can't make it to the funeral. She didn't take this well at all and completely went off at me, calling me selfish and a bunch of other things. I get she's grieving, so she's probably saying things without thinking, but even our parents are calling me unsupportive and selfish for not coming.
Okay, so this video, right? And this is one where low key I did disagree with not only the verdict but also the people at Smosh. So of course the verdict was that she was an asshole. To me, I would say that during the video that I watched, one of the biggest things that was never mentioned, asked, or even inferred about was the relationship between not only the sisters but the poster in question and the brother-in-law. Mind you, my thing is there's so many ways and so many moments, and even during that day there's so many times where I can give my condolences, I can be there for my sibling, or I can reach out and do things for them. I'm a firm believer that when things happen and when unfortunate events happen to people and happen to anyone that is remotely close to you or related to your family, friends, whatever have you, the world still moves. When I heard this, I really didn't think that she was an asshole, and here's my reasoning. It is her sister's husband. Like I said, I would need more context as to how close not only the sisters are, but how close the poster is to the brother-in-law. If it's me and I'm in that lady's shoes and I have an artist that shaped a lot of the way I view life, how I interact as a person, how I operate, and I've been there. I've had this conversation with people who see certain artists and celebrities in that way. In my eyes, me personally, as a person, I can say that I won't say that any celebrity really shaped me as a person to the point where I believe that they had a direct hand in who I am. But I have seen people who are that passionate about, people who grew up listening or watching to certain artists or people. And to me, it's like, it's your money, it's your life. You should be able to live it and do with it what you want. For other people to say you have to attend the funeral of this person who, mind you, is not, and this may sound harsh, but mind you, again, I'm trying to play devil's advocate, who's not blood related, who was chosen by someone you were close to be a part of the family, and who may or may not have a close relationship with me myself. If I've already paid a lot of money and I'm going to see someone who is, who shaped the way that I am, and I'm that much of a fan and adamant about doing this, and this is a once in a, maybe not lifetime, but blue moon occurrence, and that I happen to have the money, the time and the resources to go out and experience this. And yes, this event is unfortunate, is tragic, and it just so happened to land on that. I should be able to choose what to do with my time because this is my life. This is me. Like, if I spent my hard-earned money in doing these things, and moving all this and that around so I could appreciate something that shaped who I am, then why should I be shamed for doing this? I have plenty of opportunities to console my sister, to be there for her, to give her, my consolidations and to give her my energy. So for me, like, I'm sorry. I don't think that the girl is an asshole for saying, hey, I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it because I had these prior arrangements that I had set up. And this is I would say this is a inconsistency that I've noticed with the Smosh Reddit posters, where if it's something that's along the different lines, they've clearly stated you have no right to tell people how they feel. You have no right to tell people what they hold important or how they, like, why they value the things that they value if they don't get in the way of other people's lives. They've literally said that in videos. And then when it comes to this girl having this moment where her not being at the funeral, if you want to be honest, low key is not going to make any difference in how the sister takes these grievances. I'm sorry. Like, it's not going to make, I won't say make no difference, but it's not going to make that much of a difference, especially if I have all the time beforehand to give my condolences, to be there for her, to give her any consolation that she needs outside of this one event, which is, you know, the funeral. And to me, it's like, I'm sorry, this is her life. She can choose to do whatever she wants to with her own life. And she's already spent her hard-earned money and spent time preparing for this. And with this, you know, tragic thing happening, now I can understand if it's my mother. I can understand if it's, say, her blood sibling or someone she grew up with or a super close friend that she's known since childhood. But to me, that isn't the case. And I don't think it's fair to impose that on, you know, the sister after she's clearly, you know, spent a lot of time, money, and effort on getting these concert tickets. And to me, I'm sorry, like, I don't think she's an asshole for wanting to live her life. And like I said, there was more context that was never given, like I said, such as how tight the sisters are, how tight the sister was with the brother-in-law, or if the sister had any opportunity to offer, like me, if I was in my sister's shoes, I would be spending as much possible time with her on the day of that funeral until I have to leave for the concert. Like, I would spend as much time with her in that day. Like, I would get dressed super early, get ready super early, and I'd be like, hey, I'm going to spend all day with you, and even maybe parts of the funeral beginning, and then I'm going to head out to this concert that I've, you know, spent so much time preparing. And to me, I think that is the happy medium that maybe wouldn't have got her that, you know, verdict. So yeah, that's just how I view it. And that's one of those ones where I genuinely do think that I don't think she should have been given, you know, the asshole verdict, because she wasn't nasty about it or mean about it. Who knows? There may be more context to it, but yeah, just with what's given, I don't. All right. And next one.
Am I the asshole for telling my wife I'm moving? It is up to her if she is coming with me or not.
Go on.
I'm listening.
Proceed.
My wife and I have been married for 6 years and have 2 kids under 5. We live on the East Coast in a 2-bedroom small house. Cost of living here is insane. My parents moved down south a few years ago. My mother called me up a few weeks ago to tell me about a house in their community that is up for sale. They are good friends with the owner and can get us a good deal for the house. To me, this sounds amazing. Everything there is cheaper, and we will have more space and more bedrooms for our kids. I work from home, so I talk to work, and I would be able to keep my job no problem. My wife would need to leave hers, but I could cover us until she finds a new one. I contacted a real estate agent to get an estimate on how much we can get for our house here, and it's a good amount and would make the move easy. Once I had everything worked out and I was sure it was a good idea, I brought it up to my wife. She was totally against it immediately. She doesn't want to leave her job, she doesn't want to move the kids away from her family, and she doesn't want to leave her friends. I explained to her that when she puts her selfish reasons aside, this was a great opportunity for our kids. We will have more money and more space in a big backyard, and we will be close to my parents so our kids won't be without family. She said no, there was no chance. Her life is here and has been her entire life, and she has no intentions to change that. I was pissed and slept on the couch that night. I spent all night thinking about it and came to the decision that if she doesn't want to do the right thing by our kids, I will. I laid it out for her. It was up to her if she wanted to move, but I had made the decision to move. She could either come with me or we could divorce. We could sell the house, split it, and I will use my half for my new home down south, and she can do whatever she can with her half up here. Probably would have to rent. We would also have to work out custody of our kids. I told her she has a month to make the decision, but I was going to start the process and get all my business in order. She told me I was being crazy and has only been speaking to me about the kids for the last week. I have been in contact with the seller of the new house and am setting things in motion. My parents told me I'm doing the right thing and looking out for my kids. I ran it by my friends who told me I am being an asshole for expecting my wife to change her entire life, but this is what is best for our kids, and I think she needs to grow up. Stop being selfish and think of our kids.
All right. So, this is one of those where, all right, the verdict was, of course, that the guy was the asshole. I believe that here's my humble belief. I think for me, the only thing that really made him an asshole was giving his wife that ultimatum, especially so early on, without trying to work things out. And then also the, basically moving out so soon within the month and basically saying, if you don't join me, it's going to be a divorce. Outside of those two things, I don't see him as an asshole at all, because here's a lot of my reasonings. For one, he is genuinely thinking about his kids. He's thinking about what would be better, giving them more room, giving them more opportunities, giving them a better cost of living, giving them a better living situation. And also, they're going to be somewhere where they also have family who can help out, who can, give advice on that end. And I do agree with one thing that he said, was that she was being very selfish, because my thing is now, and it's only based off of information that was given. There could be things left out. There could be parts of the conversation. However, if her main reason really was because her life is here, her friends are here, she doesn't want to just up and leave, that means that the one thing that she is prioritizing over everything else is herself. I do believe that as a married person who has kids, I think that the thought process needs to be as a unit, in thinking of what is best for us as a unit, because at the end of the day, that is what you're living for. You're not living for only yourself. You're living for you, your spouse, your family, etc. And for me, if your biggest argument is, I've been here all my life, all my friends are here, I don't want to leave, I do think that's a little on the selfish side. If you can put you and your spouse in a much better living and financial situation while giving your kids more room to grow, breathe, be their own people, and to, have a better school system while keeping family around, why not make that transition? Why not make that move? Or at least why not consider it? Because given this sense, she doesn't seem like she wants to consider it at all. He said that she shut it down immediately and wouldn't even think about it. Now, my thing is, if you break down the pros and cons and end up saying, hey, I think it might be best if we stay instead of moving because of this, that, and the third, then that's very different, because you put thought into it. You thought about what is best for the family, and you thought about what that situation, weighed the pros and cons of the situation. But if you take this and shut it down immediately, that means that you're not even trying to see from a different perspective, or from, a standpoint of understanding what might be best for your family. You're thinking completely selfishly. And one of the things that they talked about in the video, that I completely disagreed with, no matter the context, was they said mind you, the people that work at Smosh, so Shane and them, said that it's completely irresponsible and completely wrong for him to work out a plan beforehand, because now you're premeditating, you're doing these things without your wife's consent, and you're going behind her back and setting all this up, and that's, you're a big asshole for it, and you shouldn't do that. My counter argument to that, which is actually what I believe, like, I'm not playing devil's advocate when I say this, is that if you are thinking of doing something so huge, like moving your family or making such a big leap, that could change the dynamic or the lifestyle of your family forever, then to me, isn't it smart to come up with a plan beforehand to propose to your significant other? Like, wouldn't it be smart? Because if you came up with this idea saying, hey, babe, I think we should move us and the kids down here, and you have no plan, no thought into why we should move, no pros or cons list about like what that would look like for us, then you're bringing up an idea with no tangible, consequences or values to look at as whether this should be a good or bad thing. Like, to me, what he did initially was a really good move. Was, okay, you brought this up, his parents brought this up, you said, okay, let me look into this. How much is this going to be? What would this look like? Where would we go? How would the situation look? And he put all that together before proposing, the situation to your wife. Because, I mean, think about a sales pitch. If you come up with an idea, right? If you come up with an idea, an invention, an artistic idea, such as like a movie pitch or a book or whatever, you can't just go into a meeting and say, hey, I want to make a book about this. Okay, what's the plot? I don't know. What's the exposition? I don't know. How is the story going to develop? I don't know. Do you have a storyboard? No, I don't. They're going to look at you sideways and be like, bro, get out of here, and come back when you actually have a plan. And that's what he did. Was he went and he didn't go behind his wife's back to set anything up, but he wanted to look into the details and break everything down and say, okay, now I have a plan, a tangible plan, a reason why this plan will be good for us, and now I'm going to propose it to my wife. Smosh completely missed that. They said that him doing that was a really bad thing. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was a good thing, because now he has came up with a solid, viable plan for his family that he brought to his wife. And for me, if you're going to come to me with a possible decision that would change the course of our lives forever, and you have no details on it, then it's a stupid idea. And then it's proper to immediately deny it or throw it out the window. But he basically laid all these things out and created a whole infrastructure on how it would look and what it would entail, and said, hey, babe, here's what it would look like, here's what I want to do, and here's why I think it's good for us. I don't understand why they thought that was a bad thing. Now, say what you want about his ultimatums and, how he went about it. Yes, I think he went about it pretty wrong. Ultimatums are never really that good in a relationship. It's very few instances where I believe ultimatums are reasonable or necessary. And to me, I think he did really jump the gun on trying to set it up and really not trying to work it out with his partner. But then it could be a lot of, like I said, background to that, and a lot of missing information as to why he made that decision the way he did. It could have been that she has a history of not listening. It could be that he's just completely impulsive and isn't and impatient. And there could be a lot of variables to that wasn't made clear in the story. However, based on just the information that's given and how the story is written, honestly, I don't think he was an asshole for at least bringing this up, at least making the attempt to show her, hey, for our family, for our kids, this would be a really good situation, move, and investment. And to me, the wife is actually more of an asshole for not being able to at least hear him out, to at least weigh the pros and cons and take a minute to sit down with him and say, okay, babe, what is this really going to look like? And is this truly good for us? If you have that conversation and then your wife's still like, no, I don't think so, and she has viable points, then everything that he's doing is absolutely wrong. But if you're not willing to hear your partner out, and especially when it comes to his main driving point, selling point is think about our kids and the success they can have in this new situation, then to me, that makes her more of an asshole than him. I'm sorry, it does. And I wholeheartedly believe that. And I'm not just playing devil's advocate on that one. So do I think he's an asshole, especially for like his ultimatum and how he goes about doing it? Absolutely. I think he was being very impatient and very just crass about the situation and how to handle it. But I don't think that he's the only asshole here. And I think that was a very, crazy situation to be in, and a very frustrating situation. but yeah, the fellow Smoshers, they didn't think of it that way, and I was actually very surprised that they had nothing to say about her just complete and utter refusal and unwillingness to see the situation. So that's my take. Next one.
Am I the asshole for just deciding not to travel because my wife made reservations for Disney again? Oh boy.
Oh, God.
We've got a Disney adult story.
Let's go.
Let's go.
You guys knew I was going to be on the show, and you put a Disney adult
Let's
in here.
go.
My wife Jess and I have been married for the past 13 years. We're both 39. After experiencing financial hardship throughout our 20s and early 30s, Jess and I are now fortunate enough to have the means to travel once or twice a year. The only problem is that Jess literally only wants to go to Disney World. We have been to Disney 9 times now, and every vacation we have ever taken together was to go there, including our honeymoon. So we go, we eat the Mickey Mouse ice cream, we wear the mouse ears, we stay in the official hotels, we see the characters, we ride the rides, we take the pictures in front of Cinderella's castle, and we come home every trip. I'm honestly beyond sick of Disney, and I never really liked going in the first place. Jess knows this, but she has no concept of travel beyond Disney. We're currently planning a trip for April, and Jess, as usual, said that we can just go to Disney. I explained that it sounds fun, but hey, why don't we go somewhere like Hawaii this time? Jess was confused. She asked why we would go to Hawaii. I responded that we could enjoy the spas and go to the beach. Jess mumbled a half-hearted answer and walked away. A few days later, she approached me saying that she made hotel reservations for Hawaii. At first, I was excited because although she did so without consulting me, it seemed like she was really listening. But then, when she showed me the hotel she booked, I found she had made reservations for Aulani,
Which is...
the Disney resort in Hawaii.
That's right.
Ooh, boy.
Frustrated, I told her that I'm honestly tired of Disney and that I just want to have a different experience this time. She told me that she was compromising with me and that I should be appreciative for the time she spent. I asked her if she was willing to consider anything other than Disney for our trip, and she said no.
All right, so there is actually a lot of like updates that go along with that whole situation. So the verdict was that he was an asshole. Like, he ended up canceling the vacation after she said no, she's not willing to compromise on going to Disney. I'll give the exposition afterwards because I still want to give like my devil's advocate take on this. And that he was called the asshole for still canceling. And the biggest reason why is a lot of people under the Redditor comments were saying the Disney resort that she booked in Hawaii is just slightly Disney themed, and everything around it has nothing to do with Disney. So just the resort itself has a few Disney themes in it, but it's not like in a Disneyland or Disney World or whatever. And you can still do the Hawaii things. It's just a slightly Disney themed hotel. For me, even if that is the case, 9 times to Disney, every vacation, the only thing you see is Disney, 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 Disney. I'm on this guy's side. Even if I went to Hawaii and nothing we were going to do outside of the hotel was Disney, if I stay in a Disney-themed hotel, I'd probably lose my mind as well. Because 9 times, and that's your only trips, and your honeymoon was there? Dog, like, come on now. Honestly, I was actually very surprised to hear that this guy had the asshole verdict, and also the updates that came after it, absolutely insane. Actually, mind you, I feel like this one I really don't have to go too much into why I believe that he wasn't the asshole, because I believe a lot of people wouldn't see him as the asshole for this. Because like that Disney overload, and especially when you've already talked with your partner, they are aware how much you don't like Disney. You've compromised in making every single 9 vacations, including the honeymoon, is insane. I've been to Disney maybe like 3 or 4 times, and I couldn't imagine 9 within the span of only a few years, and that's all we've done. I would literally go insane. So I understand this guy's perspective. So outside of that, I really don't feel like I need to go into much more on why I believe he's not the asshole. But let me break it down. So the crazy events that happened was, so he found out that he canceled the thing. So he ended up looking into it after he canceled and realized that it's just a Disney themed hotel and said, okay, I understand where I'm the asshole. He rebooked the hotel, mind you. I think 2 weeks before, it was either 2 months or 2 weeks before they were supposed to go on the Hawaii trip. Apparently, there was a car accident. I don't remember if both him and his wife were involved or just her, but she had claimed that she got injured during the accident. So they were going to cancel the trip, and apparently she tried to say, okay, well, we can't go to Hawaii, but we can still go to Disney. And long story short, she basically did get in the accident, but she faked an injury to get him to cancel the Hawaii trip, to manipulate him into still allowing her to go to Disney while feigning that she was injured. And he ended up leaving her because she was being very manipulative. But I thought that was like absolutely insane. And it's so funny how like he was the asshole for this whole verdict. And yet after these things came out, it showed that she was actually manipulating him the entire time. When the accident happened and the injury, and getting him to cancel the Hawaii trip and be like, well, we can still go to Disney. And I think, what was it? He had caught her doing things like normal because she was basically saying, oh, I can't do this because I'm hurt. I can't do this because I'm hurt. And he had like either walked in on her doing something that she shouldn't have been doing, or walked in on a conversation about her saying how like fine she was. And he ended up like leaving her because she basically like lied and tried to manipulate him into going to Disney again. So it was a whole mess. And I still, even before that came out, I still didn't think he was the asshole for it. But yeah, it was crazy. It was very crazy. Next one.
Am I the asshole for leaving my Bumble date stranded at a restaurant after she admitted she was going to her guy best friend's place after the date?
Stranded.
Okay.
Okay.
A couple of months ago, I matched with Anna on Bumble. I thought we vibed really well. She had a really nice and funny demeanor, and we had lots of engaging conversations on FaceTime. We set up our first dinner date last week. I proposed a really nice restaurant, which was sort of far from where we lived, but I really wanted to treat Anna because I thought she was special. Anna asked if I could pick her up and then after the date drop her off at her best friend's place. I didn't mind it at all. Anna said she had movie night with her best friend. I picked Anna up and we went to the restaurant. The date went better than expected. We vibed really well. Anna also had drinks since I was the designated driver. However, right at the end of the date, Anna asked if I would drop her off at Josh's. I was initially confused and then realized Josh was her guy best friend. Anna instantly realized what she said, and it sort of became awkward. Anna apologized, and I told Anna there was no reason to apologize. I was just curious about who Josh was, so I asked Anna, and Anna said he was her guy best friend, and they occasionally have movie nights. Anna said she wanted to be honest with me because she really liked me and saw a future with me, and she admitted they sometimes make out during these movie nights, but it doesn't go further than that. I appreciated Anna's honesty, but this whole thing felt like a huge gut punch. I was maybe in my feelings, but I just couldn't do it anymore. I told Anna to just ask Josh to pick her up, and I paid for my portion of the dinner and left. Anna looked really sad when I ended the date and left.
All right, so this guy was given the asshole verdict for what he did, and my fault. I didn't realize the grain turned up. This guy was given the asshole verdict for what he did, and this one, the everyone at Smosh kind of gave him more leniency than they did with the previous ones. Where, to me, all I gotta say is this: what I would say is that you have to understand, as a man, if we take you out, and and mind you, yes, we're not, like, it's a first date. We're not exclusive. We're not together. What you do on your own time is for you and you alone. And we understand that before we get to a certain point, you can do whatever you want because you are your own person. You're still single. You really can do whatever you want. However, if we're taking you on a date with romantic interest and we make it clear that this is what we want to do and I'm talking to you, it'd be one thing if I just, pick you up, drop you off at home, and you go see your guy best friend that you sometimes make out with, then that's your business. But for you to ask me to take you after our date that I've specifically expressed interest in you and wanting to get to know you on that level, and you want me to not only take care of the date but to take you to another man's house, a man that you've openly admitted to making out with on your movie nights that you're about to have, that's honestly a big breach in just dating etiquette, in my opinion, because no regular man in their right mind is going to happily go on a date with you, someone who they're genuinely interested and really want to connect with, just to take you to another man's house that you actually get intimate with. And that whole we don't go further than that is a little besides the point. The fact that you get intimate with this guy in general and you want me to take you to his spot, that's a no-go. I'm sorry. Like, that's probably one of the quickest ways you can turn a guy off or turn a guy away, is to tell me, hey, let's go on this date that you're expected to pay for, pick me up, and then go drop me off at this other guy's house so I can go watch movies and make out with him. Yeah, nah. I probably would have did the same thing he did. What's crazy is actually I wouldn't have done the same thing. And so my devil's advocate is I completely agree with what he did, and I don't think he's the asshole at all. What I personally would have did was I still would have paid for the date just because of the type of person that I am, and I would have took her home at the very most. Either that or pay or like made sure she was getting a ride before I left. I was like, okay, I'm not going to leave you stranded. Like, I'm not going to leave before it's, for a fact that you're going to leave. But if you want to go straight to his house, I'm not taking you. You can get an Uber, you can get a Lyft, and I'll stay with you to make sure you're good, since it's a ways off from your house, until you get picked up. Or I'm going to take you home and you can get a ride there. Or he can come pick you up from your house. And I'll probably never talk to you again. And just that, like, so for me, would I've handled it differently? Yes, personally. But do I think that he's the asshole for how he handled it? No, because people handle things different ways. And, I'm sorry, like, I don't blame him for having the reaction that he did, because to me, yes, that is borderline disrespectful to do that. If anything, the girl should have just postponed the movie night to another night, or changed it to another night and just kept it to herself, instead of booking everything the same day and then asking him to drop you off at his place. Nah, sorry, not gonna happen. Not saying I was in a completely similar situation, but I've had a moment where a girl that I was interested in asked me to drop her off at a certain place. Later on, I found out who that person truly was, and looking back on it, I basically was used. And like, to me, that's not cool. It's not cool at all. All right, last one.
Am I the asshole for embarrassing my cousin
love this
and
story.
getting us kicked out of a restaurant? Last night, my mother, sister, Sarah, and I went to a sushi restaurant, and this was my first time having sushi. After we ordered, I had a hard time using the chopsticks. My cousin started obnoxiously laughing. The waiter came over and asked me if I wanted training wheels, which is a little plastic item that attaches to the chopsticks and helps you hold them in place. My cousin laughed and said, "Sorry about her, she constantly embarrasses herself and us." I just gave her the side eye and put the training wheels on. When it was time to order desserts, her boyfriend MJ finally joined us, claiming that he was busy. She went on to tell him how stupid and slow I was for not knowing how to use chopsticks, and how the waiters and everyone around now know that I'm an embarrassment. My mom asked her what her problem was, and she went on a rant about how I'm so embarrassing, and it's no wonder I'm jealous of her being a mother, and no one wants to have kids with me. I finally had enough. I said, I don't have kids because I don't want them to come out like you're rude pieces of shit. And you're calling me an embarrassment? Didn't MJ just have a baby with you and his wife? Your baby literally has a sibling a week apart from her. You probably learned how to use chopsticks by eating his wife's leftovers.
Oh, I love that story. So, she was given the asshole verdict, and all I gotta say is, bro. So, I've had my petty moments. I've had my clapback moments. Would I have gone as far as she did? No, personally, but to me, honestly, whether she went too far in her clapback, at her, I think it was cousin, is, whatever. It's subjective as to whether you think it was too far or not. However, for me, for you to be berating her as much as you were and to be dogging on her like that, just keep laughing at her, calling her an embarrassment, saying that she's jealous, and basically multiple times stepping on her like that. And yeah, even though the mom kind of said, hey, her mom was like, hey, why are you saying these things? No one really stood up to her defense. So when that defense came out and it happened to have a couple of spikes attached to it and she got hurt, oh well, sorry. You don't dish it if you can't take it. To me, that just makes no sense. If you got dirt like that, there's no way. Well, I will say this. I know more about the story that you guys might not know, because of the fact that the poster, she wasn't supposed to know about her cousin's husband having a wife that she had a baby with. So the thing is, what happened is when the cousin found out that a cousin, their moms are siblings. So the poster, her mom was at the dinner, the cousin's mom was at home somewhere else, whatever. So when she found out that her boyfriend was, technically she is the side chick, has a wife that had a baby within a week of when she had her baby, when she found out, she told her mom and told her, it's the secret, don't tell anybody. The mom told her sister, which is the mom at the dinner, and then the mom told the poster, her daughter. So she knew information that actually wasn't supposed to get to her, because that was told in confidence by the cousin to her mother. And of course, people ran in their mouth, went to the family, yada, yada, yada. So she wasn't supposed to know that bit of information. So I can understand maybe being cocky and wanting to get away with it, but I'm sorry, do not dish it if you can't take it. And once she kept unloading on her and saying this and saying that, and, thinking that, oh, all of this is, basically all rah. It's like, okay, bet we can go blow for blow. And sorry, her blow knocked her lights out. And I think post context, the mother of the cousin ended up finding out and getting involved and calling the poster the asshole, which is her niece, calling the poster the asshole. And her verdict was asshole because apparently everyone was like, you shouldn't have stooped that low. You should have just got up and left. And, you didn't have to air her stuff out like that in public or whatever. But my thing is, you're already making a scene, laughing not only to the waiter, but to the rest of our family around us, that you're making fun of me, calling me an embarrassment, calling me basically a failure. Sorry, if you want to go that far and no one's willing to stick up for me, I will stick up for myself. And do not be afraid of the stuff that comes out. You started it and you kept it going. And she was basically handling herself and ignoring it for a good minute, but you kept going. You kept poking the bear. And when that bear swiped your head off, now you want to blame her for, everything falling apart. Sorry, no, you can't do that. And so I didn't think the poster was an asshole at all. If anything, everyone's reactions to it was my reaction. Dang, she just dropped the mic on her. And Smosh people ended up agreeing with them, especially after reading the comments, that she went too far and was the asshole. But I don't think she is at all. Don't come at me if you're not ready to, be retaliated against. Sorry, like point blank. But yeah, that was pretty fun, pretty simple, pretty different. Please let me know in the comments if you maybe agree with some of my breakdowns, if you disagree, if you feel like there was, let me know if you feel like some of my devil advocate, well, I should say devil advocations were justified. Maybe they weren't actual, playing devil's advocate. Maybe it's just like, that I had a good point in saying what I said and, thinking that was basically how things should have been. And maybe people overreacted or took the side of someone who, didn't deserve that grace. But yeah, please let me know what y'all think and what y'all takes are on the story. I plan on, of course, doing more podcasts in the near future. Like I said, I really did try to stay a little more consistent with it, but the level of just being busy, the technical difficulties in these past couple months have just been all over the place and made it very hard to keep up with content. But I really want to try to do a better job and, keep it up. So once again, love you guys. Thank you guys for sticking around and having a little bit of fun with me. So make sure to go like and subscribe. And until next time.